On the 16th of October 2021, on the WIT's Facebook page, a witness got in touch with me to report an account he had in an area known as the Wigan Flashes. Paul, our witness, goes to the Wigan Flashes at least once a day. The reason Paul goes down to the Flashes every day is to feed the birds. It's something he's been doing now for quite a few years. I could see how popular Paul was when we was walking round with him, when we were bumping into dog walkers who seemed to know him, and everyone was quite jolly saying hello to him. So he's quite well known in this area, and a lot of people know Paul as the Birdman. After countless phone calls, emails, texts, I thought I would have asked Paul whether he didn't mind me interviewing him on the Flashes, where these things actually happened. I was so happy and grateful that he'd agreed to the interviews on the Flashes. So you're going to hear here Paul's own words as he tells you all about his experiences and what's happened to him and someone he knows in this area of the Wigan Flashes.
Well, I've been coming over here over 40 years. Watched all the trees and everywhere grow up, never had a strange experience. And it was late spring, all the birds were singing, just about dusk. And I was walking from the path down there, and all of a sudden, it was like you get on a summer's day, if a cloud passed through in front of the sun, it just seemed to go a shade darker. And all the birds just suddenly stopped singing. There was a cacophony, a bird song, and then nothing, just silence, deathly silence. And I carried on walking, and the hairs on my arm stood up, and my neck hairs as well. And all I heard was a strange, deep humming noise, the type of sound you get outside of an electric substation. And it was just deathly quiet, and I looked up, and it was just dark blue skies. It was going to dusk. And there was nothing in the sky, but the humming was almost deafening. Then a minute or two later, as I was stood just wondering what the hell was going on, everything just went a bit slightly brighter again. Then the birds started singing and the humming had gone. It was just, I've never had an experience like that over here before.
And that's only in this area?
This area, and then a couple of weeks later it happened again over at Wigan Flash. Exactly the same scenario, the humming noise, really, and there was like electricity in the air. You look up and all you saw was the sky about to go dark between dusk and night, and there was nothing there, but there did feel like there was something moving. And from Wigan Flash I got a good idea. It seemed to, the sound, because it's more open there, seemed to drift away. And it might sound strange this, but it seemed to be following the water course, the canal in this question. And then it just went. Nothing to see, but it just, I had this feeling there was something above me moving, but I couldn't see. And then the birds started singing again. And that was about two and a half weeks later after the experience here. Really strange. There was electricity in the air, like static, and that humming sound as though you get from a substation. Exactly the same, but deeper.
Yeah.
And you all have this feeling that you're being watched, there's something about. I swear there was something above me moving large, but I couldn't see it. It was like camouflaged or whatever between the sky. Yeah.
You said almost like an eclipse.
Yeah, it was like, it went a shade darker, like you'd get a cloud on a summer's day and a cloud would go in the sun, and then it'd be shady, wouldn't it, until the cloud passed and then the sun came through. It was like that. So there was something up there, it seemed, that was shading everywhere. And before that happened, the woman over a week before at the path coming down there, she started shouting my name where the dog came running. And this before I even had experienced anything. She came running and said, Paul, I'm not drunk. I said, something strange happened. I've seen what seemed a 7 foot tall figure. I know it sounds crazy, 7 foot. And I looked and it seemed fading to the background. And then I heard all this humming, deep humming. And that's before I even experienced anything. She come running down there. I walked her off the Flash to a car near the school. And now she only comes over at weekend when her daughter's back from uni. And that was over a week before I experienced it.
On the text you sent me, it said something about an ear.
Yeah, that's what the woman said. It was like dark and about 7 foot tall. And it noticed her and turned round, she said, and look, she was shaking here.
Yeah.
Right, really worked her up. And then it said it just seemed into the background, became part of the trees behind. It just like blended in and went. That's when she started running towards me.
And she knew you were down here, so she...
Well, she didn't know I was down here, but she knows I come over every day.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so as I walked to the top, she was running down the path from the farmer's field. This is what happened about a week and a half, 2 weeks before the strange occurrence at Ockery Pond happened to me. I just come up the path over there, and then a woman I know, me to see her regular, she came running down here shouting my name with her dog, really panicking. I said, what's wrong? Is there a bloke about her? And said, no, I've just seen something really strange, like a figure about 7 foot tall. He turned to look at me, then all of a sudden she goes, I've not had a drink or anything, Paul, I swear to you. He just seemed to blend in the background, as though the black background became him and gone. And said, and when I was coming from further down, there was a deep humming noise in the sky. Said, really freaked me out. And she's come running down here, and I've had to walk her off to her car at the school. Then a week and a half, 2 weeks later, I had the same experience with the humming sound. All the birds stopped singing. There was definitely something above me, because it went a shade darker, like you would with a cloud going in front of the sun. And the hairs on my arms, back of my neck, there was like static electricity around. Then about 2 minutes later, after the experience had passed, all the birds suddenly started singing again. But that's where the woman ran from, right from the top, and the figure was on her left as she was walking down, leant up against a tree.
This is a tree where the figure leant against and then faded into the background. Here we capture Paul putting his bird feed down. He was doing this in between the interview. We met Paul at 9:30. The reason we met so early is because he didn't want to have an interview coming up to dusk or after the sun had gone down, especially after the account he had at this area. We followed this path down to one of the flashes called Wigan Flash, to where Paul had another experience.
Well, a couple of weeks later, after the episode at Ockery Pond, I put it out my mind, and I come here filling my bird feeder up for years and years, every day, no matter the weather. I'm just finished, I'm sat there on the bench, and again all the birds suddenly stopped singing, and it's around the same time, about 8:30, 8:45. The humming sound started, and yet again static in the air. Hers on back of my neck, on my arms, because I had a t-shirt on, it was summer. And then yet again, just a shadow came. Like I've said before, as though the cloud had gone in front of the sun, but it was going dark anyway. And it was just like you'd get on a summer's day, a shadow in bright sunshine because of a cloud. And the humming this time was a lot more pronounced. really, really deep humming noise, and everything just stopped, deathly quiet again. And I looked up again, nothing there, nothing in the sky, but there was definitely something there. And I know it sounds strange, but this time, because it was my second experience, I became more aware. And it sounds funny what I'm going to say, but it seemed, whatever it was, as it passed, it was following the canal, and as I tuned my ears in, and it seemed then whatever it was seemed to go in that direction towards, I'd say, Ayall, Winter Hill type place, that way from here. And then again, after the humming ceased, whatever it was making the shadow had gone, all the birds started singing again. All the ducks started quacking. They'd gone into the reed beds, like just out of the way. And that was the last experience I've had.
Yeah.
But they've always been late spring and then early summer.
Did you see any shadow?
No,
of a
nothing.
person,
No,
just
there was a shadow conveyed by whatever it was. But again, it was just clear sky, but there was definitely something above.
Yeah. So it was only the lady up there
He saw
this thing moving.
Yeah. On that path.
Yeah.
Leant against a tree, it turned. She was in bits, like I said. She only comes over now at weekend when her daughter's home from university where she works.
Yeah.
It's frightened her that much, where she used to be over, like myself, every day, all weathers. And now, Monday to Friday, she doesn't come over. It's scared her that much. Whatever it was, that figure, I believe her, it blended into the background.
Yeah.
If the leaves were in the background, whatever was there seemed to project the background into what she's seen. And she said she started running towards me then because she couldn't see it anymore. She hadn't a clue what it were. Yeah, he said it like an ape resembled an ape.
It resembled an ape.
Yeah. Well, she said it was 7 foot and broad-shouldered, what she could make out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you mentioned as well about the 2 other dog walkers.
Yeah, they've had similar experience of the humming noise and feeling uneasy.
Yeah.
The bird sound, going deathly quiet.
Yeah.
There's definitely something strange, and I've been coming over for years and years, and I've never experienced anything like that before.
Yeah.
What's happened in the space of a few weeks.
Well, not far from me, you've got Pennington Flash.
Yeah, which is that direction. Yeah.
And then there we've had someone else who was coming home from a night out. He took a shortcut around the Flash and was growled at by something.
Right.
And then further on, Indley is in which direction?
Is towards here.
Towards it. So
Indley's straight over that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll come to Ince, then Springview, then Indley's like at back.
Right.
Yeah.
It's along a corridor of green.
Yeah.
Really. So from there, because we got another sighting of something called the Fisherman.
Right.
In that direction, and you were saying about
yeah, there's
been around there.
There's been a lot of drownings. There's been a body, I think late 70s, not recovered, and the police diver went down, and it was too scared to go back down again. That was in late 70s, and this marine biologist told this guy who's a regular fisher there, it was his brother, that with it being hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet deep, that shaft, and the tunnels lead off one towards Ayall, that underneath, if there's suddenly an air pocket, a collapse, even a small hole, it can cause a vortex further down the shaft, which can drag people under, and so you'll never find them again.
Yeah. And there's been murders as well as here.
There's been drownings,
A few more drownings.
Yeah, there's Sawfoot said there's been a few suicides as well over here. Yeah.
But for such a nice place with all these other things happening, you come in here and walking around, you wouldn't think there'd be anything like that here.
No.
But like you said,
It's a very eerie place at times. It is.